Hey everyone, welcome back to Stories Aloud, where stories are more than words, they're legacies. Today's book is Dad, I Want to Hear Your Story by Jeffrey Mason, a gentle reminder that every father carries a lifetime of memories worth preserving. This is about listening, remembering, and honoring the story behind the man we call Dad. Okay, let's unpack this. We are looking at a project that is, frankly, it's just ambitious in its simplicity.
It really is.
The idea is to create a complete, permanent, really a three-dimensional portrait of a father's life, but told in his own voice, not through, someone else's interpretation.
Exactly. We're analyzing the architecture of this guided journal,
Hmm.
and it's really designed to be this comprehensive framework. It's about moving beyond what we assume we know about a family member.
Right, and we're not just talking about dry genealogy here, not just historical dates and places.
No, not at all. It focuses on personality, on subjective experience, and all those tiny, crucial details
Yeah.
that actually make a person unique.
What's fascinating here is that underlying idea, the premise that if you actively seek out a deeper understanding of your family, that's how you uncover, well, the book calls it the treasure that lies in those shared roots.
It's a great phrase.
It is. The colorful stories, people, and places that make up the fabric of your family.
And, the structure of this journal, it's a direct response to something very real, the inevitability of memory loss. There's an urgency to capture these narratives now.
And the creator, Jeffrey Mason, his story is pretty powerful.
It is. He developed this whole line of books after watching his own father grapple with Alzheimer's. So that context, it gives the whole exercise this profound sense of urgency.
It turns the book into what he calls a necessary pause button on
Yep.
the relentless rush of modern life.
That's it, exactly. That context of preventing memory loss is just so vital.
Yeah, the journal really highlights a painful truth, doesn't it? In the About This Book section, it says that in today's world, time with family, it just takes a back seat.
It's the everyday rush, digital distractions, all our responsibilities. We feel stretched thin.
And those deep, focused conversations you need to really extract a life story, they just don't happen naturally most of the time.
So this framework, its purpose, isn't just documentation. It's explicitly designed to inspire these deep, structured conversations that can, build understanding, empathy, and a genuine connection.
And the outcome for the children is, well, it's a huge shift in perspective.
It's profound.
Yeah.
When you know your parents' pasts, where they came from, their secret hopes, their formative needs, their quiet feelings, their major fears, you go beyond that simple parent-child dynamic.
You transcend it.
You really do. You
Yeah.
gain a more complex and meaningful picture of us as individuals. That's the real psychological payoff. Children stop seeing the role of dad and start seeing the complex human being who held that title.
That shift from role to person is the whole mission, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And the structure itself, it demands self-reflection and candid answers, which, inherently encourages vulnerability.
It does. The father is guided through these prompts that kind of force a level of honesty that's usually reserved for, private moments.
So the act of sharing becomes an act of trust.
Yes. It allows the father to be open, to be vulnerable, and often to learn from his own children's reactions to his story as he tells it. It's a two-way street.
It creates what you might call a narrative scaffolding.
That's a great term for it. Mason ensures that the life story isn't just this chaotic collection of anecdotes. It's a structured timeline. It starts with purely objective data points before it gradually moves into the subjective world of opinion, emotion, and belief.
And that architecture makes the whole daunting task of summarizing a life feel manageable. It ensures completeness.
Right.
So we begin with phase one, the origin story, birth, and historical context. This phase is all about the objective foundations. It starts with Section A, it's your birthday.
A fitting title. This section really establishes the anchor for the entire narrative. It starts with the basics, the personal vital statistics, the birth date, the full name at birth.
The official stuff.
The official stuff. But the genius isn't just archiving the legal record. It moves immediately into the circumstantial details. In what city were you born? What was your length and weight at birth? These are the immediate sensory facts that begin this story.
And the practical reality of their arrival. I love this question. Were you born in a hospital? If not, where?
For older generations, that could uncover a story about a home birth or a setting that reflects the economic reality of the time.
Absolutely. Those are details that just vanish unless someone intentionally writes them down.
And right away, the guide starts probing for the genesis of identity, whether they named after a relative or someone else significant.
which instantly links the child to a previous generation's value system.
It does.
Yeah.
Then, the earliest developmental milestones. What were your first words? How old were you when you started to walk? They seem simple, but these are the first proofs of the father's unique path.
And this is a great one. Capturing the memory of the memory. The
Oh.
journal asks, how old were your parents when you were born? And, crucially, how did your parents describe you as a baby?
So the father is transmitting his own parents' perspective of him as an infant.
A view he could never have personally experienced. It's an act of dual generational storytelling.
It bridges two eras immediately. And finally, it anchors that immediate generational memory, the family lore. It asks, what stories have you been told about the day you were born?
Right. Was there a massive snowstorm? Did the doctor arrive late? This is the starting point of the family's oral history, that anecdotal hook that defines the beginning of their journey.
And from there, Section B immediately broadens the lens. It anchors that personal beginning of the external world, the year of birth, cultural and economic environment.
This ensures that the descendant can truly visualize the backdrop their father entered. It makes history palpable, not, abstract.
So this is where that narrative scaffolding really shines. The journal requires a little bit of external research.
Which is part of the learning process itself for the person filling it out.
Exactly. It asks for notable global events that occurred in that specific year. Context is everything. Were they born during a major war, a cultural shift, a period of optimism or recession? That single anchor point explains so much about what comes next.
And the pop culture metrics provide the specific flavor of the era, the details.
The ephemeral details, yeah. It asks you to list the Academy Award winners. Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, and a few popular movies from that year. The top song on the Billboard charts. Popular television shows.
So you suddenly get this vivid, accessible sense of the entertainment landscape. It breaks down the distance between generations.
Then we hit the essential economic reality check. And this is not fluff. This is crucial for understanding the financial world of that time.
The genius here is creating that visceral link through essential goods.
It is. Capturing the prices of a loaf of bread, a gallon of milk, a cup of coffee, a dozen eggs. These are things we still buy, so the comparison is immediate and often shocking.
Knowing a loaf of bread costs 15 cents makes the 1950s not an abstract economic theory.
But a tangible, edible memory. That's the power of specificity.
And then it scales up to the big purchases of the era. The average cost of a new home, a first-class stamp, a new car, a gallon of gas, a movie ticket.
That average home price alone can be an immediate aha moment for the reader. It can fundamentally change their perspective on their father's early financial struggles or advantages.
And finally, it anchors the political climate. Who was the leader of the country, whether president or prime minister?
Which ties the intensely personal event of birth to the political leadership of the day. It fully completes the time capsule effect of Phase 1. So we've established the external world.
Now we look at how that world began to shape the internal person. We move into the formative years, Phase 2, defining character.
This phase delves into childhood and adolescence, shifting from objective facts to the messy, complicated process of self-definition.
Section A, growing up and early self-perception, looks at environment and responsibility.
And the journal immediately requests an act of self-reflection. How would the father describe himself as a kid? It pushes past platitudes, exploring early identity, and specifically asks about nicknames.
Did he have one, and how did he get it?
Exactly. A nickname is often the distilled essence of a child's personality, as seen by their peers or family.
And then we get this valuable private window into their first personal territory, the childhood room.
I love this part. The journal asks for a deep dive. Was it messy or clean? What posters or paintings were on the walls? What were the main colors? A description of a bedroom is really a description of an inner world.
Totally. Was it highly organized, showing an early need for control? Or chaotic, full of rock band posters, signaling a budding rebellious streak? These are profound, nonverbal indicators of personality.
The focus then shifts to the social and economic foundations of childhood. Who are the best friends in elementary school? Are they still in contact?
This traces the thread of lifelong relationships.
It does. Then the initiation into responsibility. What were the regular chores? Did they get an allowance? And if so, how much was it and what did they spend it on? These simple prompts reveal early lessons about work ethic and financial value.
The reflection wraps this section with a look back. What is one thing the father misses about being a kid?
A question designed to elicit an emotional response about freedom, or lack of responsibility, or just the simple joy of certain activities. It's a quick philosophical summary of what he values most about that lost time.
And the journal includes a powerful quote here. A family needs a father to anchor it, emphasizing how the father's own foundation provides that anchor.
Then Section B tackles the teenage years, rebellion, and discovery. This is the period of greatest distance from parental control, a time of significant tension and self-definition.
The memories here are often the most vivid and emotionally charged.
They really are. The narrative demands articulation of identity markers. How would he describe himself as a teenager? How did he dress and style his hair? These physical details ground the memory and reveal cultural influences.
The social structure is also analyzed. Did he hang out with a large group or just a few close friends? Did those friendships last?
Which defines their social confidence and need for conformity or individuality.
Then the journal captures the key social rituals of high school, describing a typical Friday or Saturday night, where they went, what they did, who they were with.
Then the boundary test. Did he have a curfew? How strictly was it enforced? Did he date, go to school dances? What were those first romantic experiences like?
And the crucial rite of passage into independence, the biggest step toward adulthood for so many?
Driving.
Driving. Who taught them to drive and in what kind of car? This is a story of mentorship, fear, and freedom.
The journal smartly builds on this by asking how old they were when they got their first car and the year, make, and model of that car. That first car is often symbolic of self-determination.
Of course, we also have to explore the academic and extracurricular side. School activities, sports they participated in. What did they like and dislike about high school?
Grades, favorite and least favorite subjects. These define their intellectual comfort zones. And importantly, a few favorite songs from those high school years. Music just sets the emotional landscape of their youth. It's an auditory backdrop.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The journal smartly transitions from documenting facts to extracting wisdom. The time machine moment.
This part is profound.
It asks, knowing all you know now, what advice would you give to your teenage self? And specifically, what might you have done differently in school? This is direct, distilled wisdom transfer, rooted in hindsight.
It forces the father to articulate his biggest educational or social regret, turning a past mistake into a powerful, transferable lesson. It's the ultimate if-I-could-go-back moment.
And finally, it acknowledges the external guidance that helped shape them. Write about a teacher, coach, or other mentor who had a significant impact on you.
We often overlook the influence of non-family role models, but these figures can sometimes be the key catalyst for a person's life direction.
So we've built the foundational person. Now, phase 3 transitions into practical adult life, career, choices, and financial life. Section A, the launchpad, is about those first major decisions after school.
The fork in the road. The focus here is the initial trajectory. What did you do immediately after high school? Job, military, college, trade school, and critically, the motivation. Why did you make this choice?
Understanding the reasoning behind the starting line of their adult life explains everything that follows. Was it necessity, ambition, or fulfilling an obligation?
If they pursued more education, the journal asks for the major or focus. This reveals early passions or maybe pragmatic choices. Then comes the deep reflection on growth.
How did this time period, the military, college, and apprenticeship, how did it impact the person you became today? It asks for personal transformation, not just a list of credits earned.
And we get that second major opportunity for retrospective correction, this time centered on early adulthood. If you could go back, what, if anything, would you change about this period of your life and why?
This highlights their learning curve and acknowledges potential regrets or lessons learned about debt, relationships, or missed opportunities. It demands real introspection about risk, choice, and consequence.
Which leads right into Section B, the world of work. This synthesizes the evolution of their professional identity.
And it starts by juxtaposing the fantasy against reality. When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up? A firefighter? An astronaut?
Right. It establishes the contrast with the path they actually took. Then the harsh reality of employment begins. What was your first job? How old were you? And critically, how much were you paid?
That initial hourly wage sets the stage for their entire financial journey. It provides a baseline for understanding the value of money in their early life.
The breadth of their experience is covered by asking for the total number of jobs, listing a few favorites, and specifying the least favorite job they ever had.
Which probably reveals a story of a truly miserable summer or a bad early career choice.
The element of parental influence returns, too, revealing that tension between passion and expectation. Is there a job or profession your parents wanted you to pursue, This explains if their path was chosen from a genuine calling or from fulfilling a family mandate.
And then defining their career. How did you actually get into this career? Was it chance, networking, or decades of planned effort?
We explored job satisfaction next, which is key to happiness. What are the best parts of this profession and what aspects did they dislike? This shows the internal negotiation of work life, the compromises made for stability or passion.
The quote integrated here is powerful. Choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. It really reinforces that theme of vocational fulfillment.
And there's a dedicated focus on leadership and achievement. Who was the best boss they ever had and why were they such a good manager? This teaches the descendant about effective leadership styles.
And what work and career-related achievements is the father proudest of? This captures professional pride, whether it's a patent, a safe company, or just a job well done over decades. It moves from the job title to the impact made.
That detailed look at professional life is so essential because for many fathers, their identity is their work. By detailing the evolution of that identity, the journal ensures their professional legacy is preserved, not just as a job, but as a series of choices and achievements.
Okay, so phase 4 is dedicated to the core of identity, family structure and ancestral roots. We're mapping the ecosystem that created the man.
Section A, the family map, emphasizes the critical importance of documentation for future generations.
The journal transcends a simple list by providing a literal tree structure, requiring specific names going back to the great-grandparents on both sides.
It's an unparalleled resource for descendants interested in tracing their lineage. It ensures the spelling of names, relationships, and basic geographic anchors are accurately preserved across 4 generations. This is the practical foundation of kinship.
The journal then smartly transitions from the objective names to the emotional bedrock. Section B, the parents and grandparents.
This section demands a detailed, honest profile of the father's parents. For both mother and father, the prompts are incredibly detailed. Where were they born and where did they grow up? Then the request for 3 descriptive words for each.
That forces a concise, impactful, and often brutally honest characterization. Was the mother fierce, loving, pragmatic, or reserved, ambitious, anxious? That short list provides immense insight.
And the mirror question is brilliant. In what ways are you most like your mother and your father?
It forces the father to acknowledge the genetic and behavioral inheritance he carries, revealing the direct parental influences on his own personality and habits.
We delve into vital historical and ancestral details. What was your mother's maiden name? Do you know from what parts of the world your mother's family originates? The same questions for the father's mother's maiden name and their origins. This is crucial for understanding the family's ethnic, national, and migration background.
The cultural baggage that shapes every family unit.
Exactly.
And the romantic core of the previous generation has to be captured. How did your parents meet? How would you describe their relationship? This defines the father's earliest model of partnership.
Then their occupations, unique talents or skills, military service. All these details paint a complete, functional picture of the family unit the father grew up in.
The emotional connection is captured by asking for a favorite memory of both the mother and the father individually. Not a general statement, but a specific vignette, a memory of a specific dinner, a piece of advice, a shared adventure.
And the wisdom transfer is essential.
Yeah.
What is some of the best advice your mother gave you? And what is some of the best advice your father gave you? These answers are generational anchors of moral or practical guidance.
Section C focuses on traditions and kinship, delving into the broader extended family and cultural practices.
Descriptions are requested for the grandparents on both sides, including where they were born and grew up, grounding them geographically.
And the scope expands beyond the immediate nuclear family. Did the father meet any great-grandparents on either side? If yes, what were they like?
This connects the father directly to living history, and it identifies other individuals who had a major role in helping them grow up: aunts, uncles, godparents, mentors. It acknowledges the village necessary for a child's development.
The cultural legacy is tied to sensory memory. What is a favorite family tradition passed down from parents or grandparents? A Christmas Eve ritual, a specific vacation spot.
And the taste of home is crucial. What are a few of your favorite things that your mother or father would cook for the family? Food memories are universally recognized as some of the strongest ties to family history and culture.
Finally, Section D covers sibling dynamics. You can't understand the father without understanding the ecosystem he evolved in.
It defines the internal family hierarchy. Are you an only child? What is your birth order? Oldest, middle, youngest. This order often determines the father's role as a lifelong leader, peacekeeper, or rebel.
The journal tracks the evolution of those relationships, which is a brilliant nuance. Which of your siblings were you closest with growing up versus which are you closest with as an adult?
Childhood alliances often dissolve or change completely as adults, driven by career, geography, or family responsibilities.
And detailed descriptions for each sibling are required, both as a kid and as an adult. The guide carves out dedicated space to immortalize those specific, favorite vignettes of siblinghood.
Or, if the father is an only child, memories of close friends or cousins who served as chosen siblings, acknowledging the emotional reality of those bonds.
After charting that entire ecosystem, the journal pivots to what many consider life's true purpose connection. Phase 5. Love, romance, and parenthood.
This addresses the seismic shift from individual ambition to shared partnership. Section A, the path to partnership, sets the foundation for commitment.
It probes deep into romantic philosophy, which can be surprisingly revealing. Do you believe in love at first sight? Do you believe in soulmates?
These answers reveal whether the father sees love as a predetermined destiny or a deliberate choice. Then it establishes key metrics: age of first kiss and first date, and specifically who it was with and what they did.
It tracks the emotional journey toward commitment. How old were you when you had your first steady relationship? And then an emotionally revealing, deceptively simple question. How many times in your life have you been in love?
Which forces a definition of love itself, distinguishing infatuation from true, lasting affection.
Then relationship principles are sought as distillable wisdom. What are some of the most important qualities of a successful relationship? This is hard-earned knowledge, trust, communication, patience that the children can immediately apply to their own lives.
The cultural and social contexts are included to humanize the memory. Did you have any celebrity crushes when you were young? Were you ever in a relationship your parents did not approve of? This acknowledges the friction and rebellious nature of young love.
And this beautiful detail. Did you ever write or receive a love poem or song? And if so, can you write a few lines? This preserves a rare, vulnerable artistic expression.
The connection is drawn back to generational modeling. In what ways do you feel your parents' relationship influenced how you have approached love and marriage? This contrast is critical. Did the father deliberately replicate or actively reject the model set by his own parents?
And then the indispensable family origin story. How did you meet our mom? What was your first impression of her? The proposal story, the wedding details, location, attendees, any good stories.
These are the specific, repeatable narratives that define the foundation of the current family unit and will be retold for generations.
Section B moves into reflections on fatherhood, addressing the profound, identity-shifting role of being a parent. The quote here says, "Of all the titles I have been privileged to have, Dad has always been the best."
It really captures the weight and honor of this role.
The wisdom for the new father is the most requested knowledge. Knowing what you know now, what advice would you give yourself as a new father?
This is so sought after. This retrospective advice often centers on patience, presence, and prioritizing time over material success.
And the guidance for the current generation, his final comprehensive counsel. Based upon all you have learned and experienced, what advice would you give your children? This serves as his definitive life syllabus.
The reality of parenting is acknowledged, ensuring a balanced view. What are the best and hardest parts of being a father? This requires honesty about the challenges, the sleepless nights, the difficult teenage years, alongside the profound joys.
And comparing eras. What are the biggest differences in how kids are raised today and when you were young? This provides crucial context about shifting societal norms and pressures.
The journal even ensures specific, personalized details about the children are preserved for them. Their lengths and weights at birth, whether deliveries were early, late, or on time. Were any of the children surprises?
It documents the early years by asking if there's a special song he sung to them, specific books he read, or a trick he used to calm them when they were upset. These highly personal, intimate details just disappear so rapidly unless they're captured.
And the final, self-aware analysis on the children. In what ways are your kids like you, and how are they different? This reveals the father's perception of the legacy he is passing on, both good and bad.
It's capped with, write about a favorite memory of being a father, just ensuring this section ends on a note of deep fulfillment.
So Phase 6 captures the nuances of the father's personality, his beliefs, his pop culture identity. This phase is so crucial because it breaks down that monolithic image of dad and reveals the pop culture, consumer, and human being underneath. It adds essential, relatable color.
We start with Section A, the Dad Trivia Quirkiness, which is this rapid-fire section designed for fun, relatable details.
Things like favorite flavor of ice cream, coffee preference, how you like your eggs cooked, practical details like shoe size.
Right, preference. Cook or clean? What superpower would he choose? What would he order as his last meal? Favorite sandwich, favorite dessert, favorite color, favorite holiday, and why?
These seemingly trivial questions are narrative cement. They define the flavor of the person. When the descendant is reading this decades later, knowing Dad always preferred a runny egg and wished he could fly, it reinforces the intimacy of the portrait.
It also touches on personal achievements and anxieties. What is his biggest fear? What personal accomplishments is he proudest of? And 5 things he's grateful for, which captures his baseline perspective on life.
And routines and comparisons. What is his morning routine? Is he an early riser, a slow starter? What is a favorite guilty pleasure? Which television family reminds him most of his own? That self-comparison offers immediate, easily digestible context.
The questions stray into the unexpected to capture maximum humanity. Ever been told he looks like someone famous? Who? Did he have braces? Does he like roller coasters? What name would he choose if he had to change his first name?
And the fun one, did he ever skip school? Did he get away with it, and what did he do? These are the slightly scandalous questions that make him fully human and relatable.
Then Section B tackles spirituality and life's meaning, diving into the philosophical core, which is often difficult to discuss naturally. It begins with the heavy hitters that force introspection.
What do you believe is the purpose of life? Which has the most impact on our lives? Fate or free will? These are profound legacy questions.
It addresses the history and evolution of belief. Were your parents religious when you were growing up, and how did they express their beliefs? How have your spiritual or religious beliefs and practices changed over the course of your life?
This acknowledges that faith, or a lack of it, is often a dynamic, evolving journey, not a static belief system.
And current practice is documented. What religious or spiritual practices do you incorporate into your daily life today? Do you believe in miracles, and have you experienced one? This provides a window into his current inner life and sense of wonder.
It also covers resilience, which is essential for transferable wisdom. What do you do when times are challenging and you need to find additional inner strength? That answer becomes a foundational coping mechanism for the next generation.
And the power of interpersonal healing is explored. Write about a time you found relief by forgiving someone. This emphasizes the moral component of his life lessons.
Section C covers media, movies, and music, the cultural landscape that shaped him. Music starts with breadth. Favorite genres and which decade had the best music. This sets his musical identity.
Documenting early consumption anchors the memory. What is the first record, cassette, or CD you bought or were given? And the self-awareness check, which adds humor. What song do you like today that would make your younger self cringe?
Linking music to memory is key to emotional recall. What is a song from your teens that reminds you of a special event or moment? And the ultimate emotional soundtrack. What song would you pick as the theme song of your life?
It tracks music experience chronologically by asking for the first concert attended, where and when, and how his music taste has changed. Finally, listing up to 10 favorite songs, a perfect condensed playlist of his life.
Cinema and TV follow, documenting his visual consumption. What movie have you watched the greatest number of times? This reveals his comfort watch. Favorite childhood movie or TV show? What TV show from the past do you wish was still on the air?
If he could be cast in any show or movie, which one? And then listing up to 10 favorite movies.
The casting call provides incredible insight into self-image. Who would you cast to play yourself in the movie of your life? And how about the rest of your family? This reveals how he perceives his own presence and the roles family members play in his narrative.
Section D includes literary influence and travel dreams. The book questions are poignant, favorite childhood or teenage books, and books that have majorly impacted how he thinks, works, or lives his life. These are the texts that informed his worldview.
His intellectual mentors?
Exactly. Travel questions gauge adventure and experience. Do you have a valid passport? How do you feel about cruises? How do you feel about flying? Favorite places traveled to, and a favorite travel memory, again, demanding a specific anecdote, not a general location.
In the ultimate exploration of desire. Listing the top 10 places to visit if money and time were no concern. This is the travel bucket list. It reveals aspirations that may still be unfulfilled, showcasing his wanderlust and dreams.
The journal then touches on political identity, providing crucial historical context for the children without, taking a stance.
It asks about the father's preference regarding political discussions. Does he avoid them, match views, or debate? That reveals his comfort level with conflict.
It asks when they first and last voted, tying his civic participation to a timeline, and how their political views have changed since their early 20s. This is powerful, as it forces him to chart his own political evolution.
It demonstrates flexibility or conviction, and it includes prompts about political action. Have you ever taken part in a march or boycott? What issues could motivate you to join one?
And the hypothetical leadership test. If you woke up in charge of the country, what are the first three things you would enact or change? This reveals his core priorities for society.
And finally, comparing generations. In what ways do you agree and disagree with the political choices of your children's generation? This sets the stage for meaningful, potentially sensitive discussions, ensuring that differences in opinion are documented rather than just debated.
And to cap it all off, we have sports memories. Did the father ever think about being a professional athlete, and in which sports? Favorite sport and team growing up? Who is their favorite player of all time?
What professional sporting event did they attend first? These are powerful nostalgic identifiers. The impact of sports is measured by emotion. What was the most crushing defeat experienced playing or watching? A sporting event seen as a kid that is still vividly remembered.
And their favorite sports movie. This is a key section because sports often serve as a common language across generations. And these memories define moments of communal excitement and shared despair.
We've covered such massive ground. We've traced the father from the literal cost of eggs in his birth year, through adolescent angst, professional striving, his quest for love, all the way to his spiritual beliefs and his list of the world's best travel destinations.
This complex narrative scaffolding truly forces the creation of a complete three-dimensional portrait.
This exhaustive approach validates the creator's central mission, that every person has an incredible life story that needs to be shared and celebrated. By providing this detailed, guided structure, the book ensures that the colorful stories, the specific people, the geographical places that form the family fabric are not lost.
They're not lost to the fog of memory or the rush of modern life.
Exactly. Legacy is not just about the major achievements. It's about answering the specific, detailed questions that allow your children to see you beyond the role of dad.
The power of this narrative is in its exhaustive detail. It moves past the surface platitudes to the specific choices, quirks, and preferences that collectively define a life. It turns vague appreciation into concrete understanding.
Well said.
So, the discussion centered on documenting a father's life. If capturing our full life story is essential for our children, consider this. What three specific, seemingly minor habits or routines do you have right now? Like how you make coffee, the route you always drive, or what you always check before bed, that a generation from now, you know your descendants will wish they had a detailed record of. Some stories don't belong on shelves, they belong in families. Dad, I want to hear your story reminds us to ask, to listen, and to cherish while we still can. If this moved you, share it with someone who loves their father, and subscribe to Stories Aloud for more stories that connect generations. Until next time, keep listening.